I'm going to say.
Oh, Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Oh, Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.
Good evening, Toronto Maple Leaf fans. Welcome back to another post-game edition of Leafs Unfiltered. In case you caught that, I was playing the outro video that probably isn't the right one to get things going when you're just starting off a post-game show. So apologies about that. But we are back here, and Caroline has joined me as always, and we've got a fun one to talk about. Once again,
I caught that, Josh, and so did Lulu here.
We have a guest on the show, Lulu.
Yeah, she's an aggressive guest. But yeah,
she's got something to say about the game.
She'll be moving on in a moment. But
so
yeah, what a game! Oh my God, this is like the leafiest win I think we could have like drawn up. One of those games you're a little nervous for, you don't think we've got it in the first half, and like all of a sudden they come out of nowhere and put it in the bag for us.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like the new look Toronto Maple Leafs, right? The 24-25 edition where, yeah, we're not going to be out shooting teams and losing because we give up a lead in the third period. Like, this is like the opposite, where it's like, there's going to be games where it's like they're not even in it, which was probably the case for, I don't know, a good 35, almost 40 minutes
40,
of this one.
45, yeah.
Yeah. And they just kind of, I guess, never fall too far behind because they play well defensively. They're not going to concede. Yes, they conceded a lot of good scoring chances, but when they do get the lead, they find a way to kind of buckle down and not give up that tying goal and let a team get back in the game. And of course, I mean, a topic that I'm going to probably want to talk a little bit about, they get the goaltending when things break down.
Oh, you don't say.
Tonight, I do say.
For those of you that haven't joined us before, I think Josh is the president of the Wall fan club. And finally, he's cashing in those checks.
Well, I'm the not just the president, but I'm the founder and president of the Joe Wall Club.
That's very good because, there's a lot of us in Leafland here that get a little nervous when we see him take those falls, take those saves. He stays down a little long. But yeah, like, aside from that,
yeah, it's like you almost get like that. Yeah, just heart palpitations when you kind of see him stretch across and you're like, oh, is that the one that's going to get him? Is he getting back up? Yeah, he is. He's back. He's back up. No, it's great to see. I mean, obviously don't get too far ahead of ourselves because we know and we can't deny the injury history he has had. And obviously, which we're talking about, the Anthony Stolarz injury. You can't afford to have him go down now. So they got to keep him healthy.
Yeah, no, I digress. Like, I think what we need to focus on tonight is that he stood on his head. He won that game for us. Like, what was the shot total at the end of there? Like,
Dallas did they get over 40 or they got 40 on the nose and the Leafs had 19. Yeah. But Dallas they outshot us 16-4 in the first period. Yeah. And and after the first period, it was 1-1. So to get outshot 16-4 and go into the first intermission tied, they had no business even being in that game.
No.
But, obviously, you give credit to Wall, and in past games, you give credit to Stolarz. But it feels like even though the quantity of shots is very high, and yes, Wall did have a lot of difficult saves to make, but I think there's going to be too much, whether it's Leaf fans or just maybe some other hockey fans saying, yeah, the Leafs are only winning these games because they're getting great goaltending. And to me, I just find that narrative, like, even if there is some truth to that, there should be no NHL team that needs to apologize because they're winning with elite goaltending. Good teams do get elite goaltending, or you're probably not a good team.
Right. But I think we're coming at that statement from having a team, like we're so used to non-elite goaltending, and we
100%.
built our team. Like this year we picked up Stolarz. I don't think we were expecting to be in the conversation for one of the best tandems
No, definitely not.
of goaltending, right? Like our team is stacked offensively, and when it's the goaltending that's winning us the gamers, or when it's our defensive depth, especially when we went through that stretch of huge forward injuries, like that's surprising. So that's a nice new spin for Leafs fans.
For sure. Like, I think for me, it's just more about, like, if you could say, hey, here's how a Maple Leaf path to a Stanley Cup win or even a deep playoff run would happen, I would have more confidence in saying, yeah, we got elite goaltending. That's how we got there. I've already seen what elite offensive players will get you, especially the ones that we have. It's not going to get you a deep playoff run. Not our guys, anyways.
Totally right. But don't you think we've kind of like chanced our way into this elite goaltending conversation? Like
to an extent, because to your point, it was unexpected. But I mean, there definitely is a pedigree there. Like Woll has always been a high potential goalie. The injuries are obviously what kind of has set him back and cast doubt. But he was always a highly regarded prospect. Maybe some of it was more because he was in the Maple Leaf organization, so got hyped up more. But clearly he's shown that he's deserving of any of the praise he got coming out of his draft year and then through his time with the Marlies. And Anthony Stolarz too. Like, he was a second-round pick, highly regarded prospect too. Similarly to Woll, a lot of injuries. And then he got put in a backup spot pretty much everywhere he went.
Yeah. But I think those are two different narratives, right? Like, we see Woll being brought up through the Leafs organization, and we kind of had a lot of stock in him, and we kept putting stock in him, and now he's actualizing, let's say. Whereas Stolarz, he was kind of the guy that was forgotten, right? Like he wasn't given a lot of opportunity. I think the most starts he's ever made in an NHL season was like 26.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, playing behind Bobrovsky. He had a stint on the Ducks. He wasn't getting a lot of, let's say, airtime. So those are two different paths that we've taken to find this goaltending tandem.
That's fair. Yep.
And I think that, like, when you are able to find a goaltending, when you're able to get good goaltending, it's awesome. It's a story in itself. And
it's enough to carry you. I mean, is it does it mean that we're going to see the same quality or caliber of goaltending come April, May? No, of course not. But if we assume that we have one, if not two, of these guys healthy, it's hard to believe that all of a sudden they're going to fall off the face of the earth. So, like, it just more that whole, when every previous year with the Maple Leafs, it was all about, okay, like, this team is built to put the puck in the net and we're going to outscore our problems. You don't have to worry about, if you have a guy like Samsonov or Jack Campbell playing in net, we're going to be beating those teams 4-3, 5-4. But I much prefer the way we're doing it now, where, maybe you're getting outshot, you're getting outplayed. You had no business winning tonight. But, I mean, you look at some of the games that, a team that won the Cup, like Florida Panthers, you could probably find more than a handful of games in the playoffs last year that they didn't deserve to win it. But you know what? Bobrovsky was the better goalie. And no Florida Panther fans apologizing for how they won some games. So I don't think we should.
Well, that's very fair. And when Stolars did get the nod in game, remember when Bobrovsky went down in the Stanley Cup Finals? Stolars came in, stood on his head,
Yeah.
and maybe he could have been their guy. They just, he happened to be behind Bobrovsky.
Yep. 100%. 100%. And obviously, right now it's, very difficult because with Anthony Stolarz out for 4 to 6 weeks, there's a knock at the door, and I think Matt Murray is on the other side of it. He had, I believe, a 27 save shutout for the Marlies tonight. I think it was a shutout. So
Wow.
there's some talk. I know they got Hildeby up right now, so Hildeby probably gets one of the games this weekend, whether it's Friday Buffalo, Saturday against the Isles.
Yep.
But Matt Murray could creep into the conversation here.
I think a lot of people in Leafland are saying that he should. He's a guy hasn't seen NHL action in something like 550 days. And I
sounds about right.
Like this is the opportunity he's probably been waiting for.
Yeah.
He's paid his dues as a Marley. I don't know, like I'm sort of surprised that they haven't made that move to bring him up, but would then Hildeby have to clear waivers to go back down?
He would not. He would
No.
not have to clear waivers. No. So they
He's
can
on the
definitely
two-way?
make that move.
Yeah.
Yeah, his contract allows him to not have to pass through waivers to get sent
Okay.
down. So they're good from that front. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I think out of training camp, Hildeby impressed enough that he was going to be the likely first call up as he was. But now, I mean, Hildeby's first game wasn't overly impressive. So if he,
He had moments. He had his moments.
he had moments, but like,
2 soft goals.
2 of the 3 at least you want to have back. But anyways, I mean, he's a guy, obviously young guy. You can't expect him to come in, his first NHL start of the year be lights out. So
Was it?
I don't think.
No, I think he started earlier. Didn't he?
He in the preseason, but no, I mean, Stolarz has been. Oh, you're right. He would have had. He probably would have had a start when Wall was hurt at the beginning of the year, right?
I think he
Yeah,
had
at
this
least
was
one.
his third start.
You're right.
But yeah, like I think he's 23 years old. Consistency is something that you work to build. And tonight no real softies. Sorry, he wasn't in tonight. But on Sunday night, definitely we got the full Hilda Beast experience. And I don't know. I think he worked his way into that game pretty well.
Yeah, he played well in the second half. So curious to see how he plays in one of the games this weekend. I mean, I think you've got 2 relatively easy games, which is obviously never really that when you're talking about this Maple Leafs team. They have a tougher time against the doormats of the NHL. So, but you would argue that if you play Buffalo again or the New York Islanders, probably shouldn't be a 40 shot against type of game like it was tonight against Dallas based on opponent quality. So if you're going to give them one more shot, probably one of those 2 teams is a good opponent to do it against.
Yeah, like I'd say he definitely gets another look against the Sabres on Friday.
That would seem like the likely one. Friday, you put him in, and then Wall Saturday back at home against New York. But so let's get back into the game tonight. So obviously, I think we probably need to start with the impressive second game in a row, impressive effort from the third line, the reconstructed third line. I think they were. What was do you remember what they characterized it as? They coined that the reclamation project line or something.
Something like that, like the exactly that.
All these guys who have been just recently coming off either the IR or Nick Robertson's case off like 5 consecutive healthy scratches. So all these guys.
4. It was 4.
Oh, it was only 4. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it
was 4, and then he got the 2 goals in the last 2 games.
He sure did. He sure did. He is on fire. He is on fire. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. Like I don't know why I didn't do the anytime Nick Robertson goal. He always scores against Dallas.
Does he?
Like,
you're right. Yeah, he was the.
Yeah, they always talk about the head-to-head between him and Jason, and I don't even know what the stats are, but like he outscores Nick Roberts or Jason Robertson every time. And it's like cool. The one game that he probably, or the one time he actually looks better than his brother is when they play each other. Like, I'll take it, but yeah.
And he's the older brother, right?
Is Nick Robertson the older one? That's a good question. I probably should know the answer. I think he is. I think he is the older one. Yeah.
Well, kind of like you probably heard the reporting today that the parents have moved to Dallas, which I thought was like somewhat different.
Really?
Yeah. Where are they from originally? I guess they are American, but
trying to see the age again to make sure. Oh no, so Nick is the younger. I should have known that. So Jason Robertson's 25, Nick is 23.
Okay, well,
yeah, and they're West Coast boys from Arcadia, California.
Oh, he's a Cali boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jason was definitely the lesser known brother tonight. I don't know. I guess the mom wore the Dallas Stars jersey to the game, wore the Leafs cap. I'm sure you saw that come across your feed.
I did. Oh yeah.
And no.
Well, and Nick probably didn't like that very much, and that probably lit a fire under him.
Well,
that's probably what motivated him.
Keep that fire burning. We're all for that.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, like while we're on the topic of like that third line, and I guess Nick Robertson specifically, like obviously, and we were talking about it before we jumped on here, that you're obviously going to get a lot of Leaf fans, those who are in the 89 fan club and have been since like preseason or maybe even since he got drafted, that are going to be like, okay, everyone, it's time to apologize now because Nick Robertson is him. And obviously, both of us aren't anywhere close to acknowledging that. It's two very good games, like not going to kind of discredit what he's done.
Totally.
If he can do that, forget about every game. If he can even do that for the majority of the games he plays, even half the games, he is a NHLer. Is he a high impact guy? Maybe not, but you have a third liner who can do what he's been doing the last two games, being physical, getting in on the forecheck, playing well defensively.
Yeah.
Pretty much all things he was not doing prior to him getting back in the lineup. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, okay, is this really who he is? Like, if he keeps getting that opportunity with Domi and Rocket McMahon, are we going to keep seeing this Nick Robertson? Or is it like, okay, we've seen this in the preseason where her look like, oh, this guy could be a legit 40 goal man, and then the real games begin and he's anything but that, he's everything but that. So I don't know, like it's tough because I've obviously been someone who has always been critical of even his inclusion in the lineup, but we're at a point now where it's like, there's probably no one better unless they're looking at making a trade and acquiring someone else. He's probably better than, whether it's Ryan Reeves, whether it's David Camp, whether it's Connor Dewar. So you can justify it.
Yeah, Fraser Minton, who's been
You've been sent down already.
I think that's like a direct head-to-head comparison that we can make. And he definitely looked like he had more on the ice tonight than Fraser Minton would have. Stayed in his skates for the most part.
Yeah, he's not falling down a lot. That's right.
I know. Maybe he has been hitting the gym to your.
Well, yeah, I guess he had time, right? Four games not playing, you got to figure out a way to get involved. So you spend an extra couple hours in the gym. That might be what he did.
Yeah. Well, it seems like when they do go up against the Dallas Stars, you're right. He does show up. And like, we need to give the guy something to play for. I think that's what we've realized. Like, you scratch him, he scores. Playing against his brother in front of family, he scores. Well,
he's always done that too, right? Like going back to last year, there was like multiple times in the year where Keefe sat him. First game he comes back to lineup, he scores a goal. And then for Keefe, it was like, oh, okay, I made a mistake. I scratched him. Clearly, he's better than the other guys we have. But then by game 2 or 3 of him returning to the lineup, it was back to being a ghost and not getting any and not capitalizing on any chances and just not being very physically involved. So there's kind of a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde thing going on here with the player. And I think you can only expect so much from him. So I think
Mhm.
everyone has to pump the brakes on this 2-game run here. But it's definitely encouraging, especially to play of Domi. Domi's kind of obviously got back into the mix, and he's all of a sudden a relevant hockey player again, which is nice to see.
The amulet. It's the amulet.
Yeah, it must be. It must
It's
be.
actually like at this point, I'm actually flabbergasted that the amulet comes into play. He scored 2 goals. It's like, what is this amulet?
Yeah.
Do you know? Like,
I don't know enough about I obviously John Tavares has some kind of I don't know, vaccination. He's infatuated with an
yeah, it's a
amulet.
good
Like
word.
I don't actually know the significance of it. I haven't researched it enough, so I'm a little bit
Well,
ignorant on the topic, but it seems to be a good luck charm. That's for sure.
well, you know, Domi's wearing the amulet now.
I know, yeah.
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 And like
Yeah,
from what
and
I
it's helping.
understand, it blocks 3G or it blocks like signals to you, and it
You say it
I don't
blocks
know.
3G?
5G, excuse me, 5G.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't know. It does.
Yeah,
It
see, all of that is already way over my
cleansing.
head. I've no idea what its purpose is or what it's supposedly doing, but hey, John Tavares has pretty much been the best player the Leafs have had for I don't know, good 2-3 weeks here. So we can't deny the power of the amulet. That's for sure.
Yeah, more and more I watch, more and more you see JT continually performing. Like, I feel so bad that he's been left off Team Canada roster for the Four Nations.
Yeah.
Like-
Like I'm sure he was in the mix. I'm sure he would be one of the first guys to get called up if there is an injury. I can't say it's like, that he got shafted or it's a disgrace that he's not there. Like, could you make an argument that he should be there over 2 or 3 guys who are there? Maybe, but it's not like like, oh my God, he got robbed. I don't think he got robbed of not being there.
I agree, but I think that they've built a roster of guys that he fits well into. And as he's playing the way he is, he's like, amulet super powered. Yeah, I just sort of feel for him. The guy's having this breakout year. He got the C stripped from him. Yeah, so
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah,
let's
no,
go
it would
back
have been
to
a
the
nice story if he could have got picked for Team Canada for sure.
Mhm.
So who for you? This might be a rhetorical question. Who do you think gets the belt tonight?
Well, I think we brought up the 2 front runners, being Robertson and Wall. But I think, with the
How about 2-goal man, Willie? Willie got 2.
Yeah, I kind of hope it doesn't go to Willie.
I'm definitely not trying to put you on the spot here, but for the audience here, Caroline sent me a text when the goalie was pulled for Dallas and Nylander and Tavares get on the ice. And she's like, why is Willie Nylander on the ice? And maybe 5 seconds after I see the text, Willie Nylander is skating in alone and getting the empty net goal.
But
ouch, that didn't age well at all.
He was there before he was there even when the goalie was pulled the first time. And I thought, what is Willie doing on the ice, right?
No,
that's terrible.
Yeah. Obviously, all joking aside, I totally agree. And I never, Berube has put him in a lot of these, protecting the lead situations. And Keefe did it last year too. He put Willie on the PK. I almost feel like, it's like a Zoolander conversation, if you're a fan of that movie, where it's I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Seeing Nylander on the ice when it's when the goal is to protect your net, defend, or protect the lead, he's not the guy who should be out there. Maybe it's more an indictment on who else is available. And they're well, I don't know. Do I trust Tavares more? Do I trust Bobby McMahon, Domi more? Do I trust I don't know. But I would think a Steven Lorentz, Mitch Marner, Bobby McMahon, I would trust more. I don't know. It's weird that Nylander. I guess the thought is if you're gonna get the puck, he's the guy you want there because he's already doing a flyby. and already ready to head out on an odd man rush or a breakaway. But
Well,
at that
Berube
point of
hit.
time,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, Berube hit on that whim, on that hope tonight. Like, but I still don't.
Right.
I don't think that's what you're playing for when you're 2 goals down, maybe, but when you're 1 goal down, like,
Right.
are you really like hoping to seal the deal? I think you're just trying to protect that lead.
Yeah, it feels like a unnecessary aggressive move. Like it's like, yeah, we expect we're going to get the puck at some point, and if we do, we want to have a guy who can skate quickly and is going to jump out down the ice and maybe get a chance to score. But it's like, sure, but then why don't you have like Riley out there in a defensive situation, because he can clearly skate better than Tanev or like Jake McCabe. But you don't have that same approach with your defense, and I get it. Defense is different than forwards. You definitely want to have someone, obviously there's more of an offensive mindset when you're a forward, but still, I would think you want guys who would actually try to block a shot rather than trying to get out of the way of a shot like Nylander will very often. So to me, I'd see more of a need to have the guys like Lorenz, whether it's Nyes even, like there's a lot of other guys that aren't afraid to get in front of a puck, in front of a shot or hit somebody. Nylander will not do that.
Yeah, I would think you'd throw your PK unit out there when you're expecting a goalie
pretty much
net situation.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but it worked out. It worked out. So obviously he made the right move, clearly.
Clearly he did. So Willie got the 2 goals. If I don't think that the belt pick has dropped yet, maybe it has. I haven't been totally tuned in, but
I can try to do a quick look.
Who do you think it's going to tonight?
I think it's got to go to Joel. I think it has to.
No? Okay. I think it's going to go to Robertson. Just like the whole story behind it. 2nd goal in a row,
Oh, Max Domi gets it.
No way.
Max, he got 1 goal. I guess he played well, but Joe Wall robbed in Dallas. Robbed.
Like, did you look at the score, like the box score? Like, Robertson had more block shots than Tanev going to the 3rd.
Is that right?
Like 3 hits too. Like Robertson was flying tonight. Domi gets the 2nd goal.
Who voted here? Like, because there's a shot of Max Domi and Austin Matthews for the photo op, but Max Domi had 1 goal, the first goal of the game. I was wondering if he assisted on either the Robertson or McMahon. He did not. Like, yeah, he played a good game, but that's I don't know.
Who got the belt against Buffalo? If you scroll down the feed on my phone.
Yeah, I got you. Let's see.
It was like a pretty easy pick from Buffalo, I remember.
Tavares, is it not?
Oh.
Well, I'm seeing.
Yeah. He got
Oh, that's right. Yeah, of course. The Hattie, that definitely deserves a belt because there's a picture of him, Revo, Marner, and Matthews. But yeah, Tavares got it.
Yeah.
So Tavares gives it to Max Domi. Interesting, eh?
I don't think Domi's got the belt so far this year. I think Robertson has potentially.
Yeah, but that can't be why you get a belt, because you haven't got one before. You got to earn it, Caroline.
But that's the way the belt works. The belt is not.
It's
so
becoming
objective.
a sham. It's becoming a sham of an award.
Completely political.
Yep.
I've said this to you before.
It's a popularity contest at this point.
No, it's not even a popularity contest. It's like, let's take into account. Yeah, I guess.
Because Joe Wall is the quiet piano playing, keeps to himself. He's not the loud party guy.
You're harping on why Wall didn't get the belt. No, I'd rather.
How about we find out if any Leaf fans in the comments here who are watching, is there anyone who wouldn't have given the belt to Joe Wall tonight?
You are so delusional with your Joe Wall. You're just delusional. You can't.
He made
your eyes for Joe.
The guy made 37 saves.
I think he made 40 saves. Still.
No, he
I
had
think
40 shots. He didn't save all of them, but
yes.
yeah,
That's
40
fair. That's
shots
true.
on goal, made 37 saves. I mean,
Okay.
look, I'm not going to cry about this, at least not a lot, but I do think Joe Wall is a deserving belt recipient, but that's okay. That's okay.
Well, Max Domi, we're glad. Like, if this is gonna get Max Domi going, the second goal of his season, let's give it to Domi. Let's keep these third line vibes rolling.
Oh,
And
so it's more of a kind of like a
I think so.
motivational
A motivational
thing.
belt. I
It's
don't
a
know.
gimmick. It's a gimmick.
It's sure is a gimmick. Anyway, that third line, pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we've been hoping for, like there's all this talk about going out, getting a third line center, getting somebody
Right.
big at the trade deadline, and do we need it? Do we need it right now?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can make at least an argument to maybe you don't focus on that and maybe you work on addressing your D, but I don't know.
Your
Like,
fourth line. I don't know.
Sure. Like, I mean, like, I think for me, I was just obviously very not unimpressed, but I just wasn't convinced after the Buffalo game when the third line looked good. It's like, okay, great. It was against Buffalo. Every third line looks good against Buffalo. But now that they've kind of doubled down and had a great effort against Dallas, you start wondering, like, okay, have they found something here? Because they certainly were very impressive. I mean, Domi had 2 shots, McMahon had 2 shots, Robertson had 1, and they were a +3 on the night. So they're doing great. They're not conceding chances really, and they're looking really good. It just, to me, it still feels like that's not a line that's going to tilt the ice on a regular basis going forward. But for now, yeah, it looks fine.
Well, to your point and to the broadcaster's point, this has been a line that's been constantly in motion. And we haven't maybe given them enough time to coagulate and find their stride like they've found in the last 2 games. So, maybe we wait and see. We, watch these 2 back-to-backs coming up. And if they continue this level of play, we kind of say, this is it. This is real.
Yeah. And how did you like, I guess, the second game of the big 3 all together?
Yeah, no, that's a huge
Nylander,
story.
Marner, Matthews.
Yeah, haven't touched on that yet. I'm just sort of surprised, to be perfectly honest. We talk a lot about how we can distribute our offensive talent, how we can bring a little bit more offense to the third line, fourth line. Yet there they go and they throw the big guys all on the fourth line. So
all the eggs in one basket.
Line. Yeah, so I don't know. There's definitely 2 faces of Leaf Nation, or 2 faces of the management when it comes to managing the distribution of talent.
Like, I felt it looked good, but I feel like it's a very hit or miss, like they're probably going to be giving up a lot of chances and shot attempts because just the way they play, it's obviously very high risk, often a high reward, as we saw with that the first Nylander goal especially, and then again, obviously not the the 3 of them together on a line when he got the empty net goal. But is that kind of the hockey that Berube is okay playing, where it's like your first line is going to play 20 minutes a night, 20 plus minutes a night, that they might spend half the shift in their own zone? And, depending on the opponent, depending on who they're up against, that might result in a goal against. And are you okay if your first line is conceding almost as many as they're scoring? Because tonight we saw they were on the ice for 2 goals against, and they were only on the ice once, or on the ice for 1 goal for.
Right.
You probably can't have your first line giving up 2 if they're scoring 1 and win hockey games. Because you're not going to get 3 goals from your third line every night like you did tonight. So I worry if that is something that can work for a guy like Berube. where it's like, okay, I'll put them out there together, but we have just as good a chance of giving up a goal as we do scoring a goal.
Yeah, I definitely think the impetus for this move is that we've not been scoring as much as we had been
Yeah.
earlier in the season.
For
Like our
sure.
goals for have dropped off pretty steeply. I saw an interesting infographic where it showed we had like 3 goals for in September, and then it was down to 2.5 in October, and then has fallen off a cliff since then. So
Yeah, we
we're
got
definitely
5 tonight. We got 5 tonight. We don't have to worry about it anymore. Old problem. Old problem.
Yeah, but like I think that's a clear, there's a clear correlation between that move and like our goals for
totally.
falling off. But yeah, like what might suffer from that, like you said, is that we've had a really strong goals against this whole season so far.
Yep.
And so it's kind of weighing those two things.
Trade-off.
Yeah, trade-offs. I guess everything's a trade-off. But I don't know, like if we're gonna be living in Hildeby or Murrayland for the next 4 to 6 weeks, I wonder if you need to be a little bit more considerate about maintaining that goals against and ensuring that you have that solid, those solid lines that are going to be able to prevent that. But maybe, like this could be a good segue into talking about our goaltending situation.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Stellars, the Pebble.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good. I mean, I guess I don't know if it was Berube or Tree Living kind of said that they avoided a potential disaster, that there was no structural damage. I don't know. I hear 4-6 weeks, and that feels like at least a little bit of a disaster.
Yeah,
that's not good.
Yeah, like one thing that I still can't wrap my head around is the very innocuous play that seemed to pull Stellars out of the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Seemed like nothing.
Seemed like nothing. And then
Yeah.
that prompted the MRI that found the scan, whatever, found this pebble. And I listened to a podcast where they had one of the most, well-known sports doctors, and he kind of broke down what sort of the prognosis is. And it doesn't sound like, basically they were saying that this, like you said, it's very good that we've gotten ahead of it. But it really isn't a very good long-term situation to have with the goalie. So
a
the
knee issue? Yeah,
like a knee issue that was
A pebble.
aggravated so easily, and
Yeah.
it seems to be a little bit I'm not farming full sentences here, but the doctor did say he's on a 2-year term. That's good.
Oh, really?
So, like that
Well,
was
he's had
alarming.
injury problems before, so I think that's really where a lot of the concern is. Like every probably professional athlete will at some point in their career probably get whether it's a freak injury or something, and you can say, okay, her get it cleaned up, it will be operated on, it's a procedure, her be okay.
Yeah.
But kind of like Wall, anytime one of these guys gets injured, you got to kind of go back to, well, hold on a second here. Again, like lower body, a knee or whatever, it's very concerning. So obviously they're saying the right things to tell Leaf fans that it's nothing to worry about. But, and this is kind of obviously connected, but I think it needs to be talked about with the Leaf PR team. Just stop telling us day to day.
Well,
stop telling us day to day. Like, Stellars day to day, Max Domi day to day, Bobby McMahon, Austin Matthews, all day to day.
Yeah.
Until the next day when they're week to week. Like enough.
But to be honest, this is the most transparent they've been about an injury in a long time.
Yeah,
Like,
after the fact, true.
Yeah, they came out with day to day.
Yep.
But then the scans came back, or maybe that they are always known, but still the fact that they're being more forward about what's going on, giving us a timeline, we haven't seen that yet. So I think they're learning. A little bit.
Perhaps, or is it like player dependent? Because we still will never learn what happened to Austin Matthews. I mean, I don't think we've really got clarity on Max Domi. We got a little bit
Interesting.
on Jake McCabe's injury and Bobby
Huh.
McMahon, but it's
Well,
almost like, I don't know, is it a team thing that they're holding back information, or because I think even Matthews, when he had I guess the media availability when he came back off the injury, like he was very, kind of defending his secrecy around the injury. And it
totally.
kind of felt like it was more like, the team's not basically telling me to not tell you. It's my prerogative whether I want to reveal what I'm going through. Because they were
Right.
pressing him about the German doctor and everything. And he was like, I don't think I need to talk about my injuries. Like,
Okay.
but maybe
Let-
Stolarz is like, yeah, sure, PR team. Like, I don't care.
No, I'll
Tell-
bite. I think that this would be a team policy thing. I think a guy like
Yeah.
Matthews might steer the ship in terms of how they manage his own information.
Right.
and
That's what I'm
he's a-
thinking.
He's a fairly private guy when it comes to his personal life, injury life, it seems like. But I don't
Mhm.
know, like that Max Domi could be like, nope, can't talk about me. I
Wouldn't
don't.
think so. Wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
But like, there wasn't like I still don't know what happened with Max Domi. I wouldn't think Bobby
Hawkenpaw,
McMahon.
we
There
have
was
no
much.
idea.
Yeah,
Maybe it's an
Hawkenpaw, no
agent.
idea. Yarncroak. We just assume he's on
Yeah.
Robida Island, but like,
Yeah.
is he playing hockey ever again? I don't know. He's week to week.
Is he weak? They say he's weak.
No, I'm just joking. I don't know what they've said with him. I just know it's long term, and I guess if no one on the Leafs, whether it's any beat writers or any media that covers the team, I guess it's not exactly a high priority to drill Berube on Cali Yarncroak status, but it doesn't seem like either side is asking the question or answering the question, whichever it is.
No, like you make a very good point there that it could be personal. I would expect that the goaltending situation is a little maybe different. We do have reserves, like we have reserves. We actually organizationally we have a very strong reserve goaltenders, right? Like Matt Murray
Yeah,
there.
There's
That's
some
pretty
depth
good.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like say Hildeby fails miserably, I think Leafs Nation would feel somewhat decent, right? Like bringing Matt Murray back into the picture.
I for sure would. I for
like-
sure would. I mean, you're talking about a backup goalie. Like, I get it. It's a long-term injury to Stolarz, so it's not like your backup is only going to play 2 or 3 games. It could be 8 or 9, depending on how long Stolarz is out for. And they've got, I think, 2 more back-to-backs this month, like obviously this weekend. And then I think they wrap up the month with 1 more back-to-back, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
No? I'm
I
pretty
think
sure. I
we're-
think I remember hearing that.
Oh god, that's crazy though.
I'm putting up the schedule, but you keep
like-
going. I'll do some research here.
Well, one saving grace is that we've got that break for Christmas. Like there's no games between the 24th and the 26th, so that's 3 days that are sort of removed from the schedule. I thought we were through the thick of it with their back-to-backs.
No, so the obviously back to back this weekend, and then next week they
30th?
play again Friday, Saturday in Detroit, and then Saturday back home against Washington, which is definitely not an easy back to back.
Ooh, that's a really tough back-to-back.
Yeah. So-
Yes, we're going to be seeing a lot of the Hildebeest, or Matt Murray,
Or
depending
Murray,
on how
yep.
things shake out. But
Mhm.
like, I think one thing that Leafs fans just have in the back of their mind with Stolarz out is like that added stress that Wall could go down anytime.
For sure.
Like, that's if Wall goes down, like, geez, that's really scary
Curtains.
stuff. That's
Curtains
just-
on the ear.
and
But I don't even know if it would be. I mean, yeah, I think it's like with the way they're winning games and have for, I guess, the better part of the year. Yeah, if your goaltending save percentage falls off a little bit and that's like 1 more goal allowed every game, yeah, you're done because you're only scoring like 2.5 a game.
That's
so-
exactly it.
Yeah.
We've
They
been
can't
winning our
have that.
goal. We've been winning games with like a 1-2 goal margin, barely 2 goal margins.
Right.
Like
right.
to your earlier points, like this goaltending's been winning the game. So I don't know. Yeah, if both of our main goalies are hurt and we're back in reserves, we're gonna need to find a new formula for scoring some goals or trying
Yeah.
something different. Because we might need 3 to 4 goals a game to win games.
Yeah. Well, and it still feels like this team has the ability to do it. We just haven't seen it. But I think it just kind of goes back to, they have to obviously, and I guess with having Marner, Nylander, and Matthews together, it's like, okay, we're putting this high risk, high reward line out there because we can't just, maybe trade chances and have these 1-1 games go into the third period and maybe the opposition has a impact player that finds a way to get that winning goal. We've got to put our guys in the best possible situation. So let's play them all together and see if that ends up, creating an odd man rush like it did with the Willie Nylander, his first goal tonight. So maybe that's what they're hoping for. I mean, I think they might have to consider between the first and second line a tweak there because the JT, Pacioretty, and Nyes line did absolutely nothing tonight.
Well, remember last game that they did absolutely everything.
The previous game they did. Yep. Yeah. So fair. One good game, one bad game. You can deal with that. We'll see what happens this weekend. But it just looked like overwhelmed. I don't know if they were getting the same line from Dallas who wasn't paying enough attention to their matchups, but didn't look like they had anything going. And this could just be me whining about how John Tavares didn't get me one shot on goal, which would have hit my parlay.
That's totally fair.
That could be why I brought it up, but yeah.
I guess from a guy going from I don't know how many shots he had last game, but probably
6 shots on net last time.
Yeah,
6 shots. I think I have that front of mind. I think that led to why I did the that prop. Yeah, maybe 6 shots, one game. You should be able to get one in a game that I thought they might be trailing based on how the books had this game, but no. Yeah, tough break.
How many legs was that parlay tonight?
I just had the 3. I just did the over Leafs puck line, which was obviously looking, both of those, the over and the Leafs puck line was looking very good, at least halfway through the game. But I'm just hoping JT could just fluff one in on the goalie, but nope, couldn't even get that.
Same with me. I had the worst night on the betting books tonight, but not going to get into it.
Like you went beyond just a Leaf game bet, or did you do multiple Leaf game bets?
Like Leaf game bets before the game. I bet the under. I bet Matthews anytime goal scorer. You bet
the under 5.5, eh?
Yeah. No,
wow.
it was 6. It was 6. Bet MGM.
Ice water in your veins. I
actually prefer the under when it's 2 good teams. And
the 5.5 though. 5.5 is
6.
Tough.
It was 6. It was 6.
Oh, 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it did go down to 5.5. You must have got it a little bit earlier.
Interesting. And then when there's a big first period, sometimes I feel like a slow second. So I bet under 1.5 goals in the second. That got blown out. Everything I bet was not a hit tonight, and it was very bad. I'm usually much.
I think we all have those nights, yeah. Although you have had some pretty good successes for sure lately.
No, I definitely have. So I think you gotta take nights like this to appreciate the winning nights. So
that's right, and we learn from our mistakes and we move forward. Yeah.
Thank you. Right? I feel like I feel like this is.
I don't think any
sort of
person
helping,
who
but it's sort of preaching.
No, it's like there's no better who would ever acknowledge that. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Yeah, I was a little bit too aggressive on that line or that prop. I've got to lay off the shots on goal prop. I never win that. Now I know how to beat the books. I'm good now. I'm good. Yeah, I figured it out.
Well, I've been loving the under, and now that we've got Hillby in the conversation, I'm never gonna bet an under when he's in net. Until I see very solid games.
Yeah, if he's in on Friday, for me that feels like an auto over.
He's definitely
got to be over. Friday. I assume he will be. There's an outside chance they, I don't know, can make a case for Wool Friday, Saturday, Hildeby against Long Island, but I think they probably would.
It's got to be Long Island.
The Islanders, but not by much. But I would think it more would be something that they look at what they did with Stolarz, where he went back to back not like 2 days in a row, but
Yeah,
2
you're
games
right.
in a row,
You're-
right?
And
And he
then
got
he
hurt,
got hurt, and then
and he had a big workload against New Jersey, played amazing, but then they came back to him in that game where he left with the injury. So similar situation tonight, Wall, heavy workload. Are you
Yeah.
really going to go back to him Friday? Probably not.
like I think just the juju of the situation with Stellars, they won't.
Exactly. Exactly.
But did you see that Buffalo lost to the Habs last night, 6-1?
Oh, I did. Oh, I did. They are in a world of hurt, that team, that franchise, that fan base. Awful.
Oh my
Awful.
God. And like the media has had a huge spotlight on how bad they've been in the last week. Have you noticed this?
Oh, yeah. Well, and is it 11 years in a row, no playoffs for them?
13.
Is it 13? Oh, my
It's been just
God.
hammered down my
Oh,
throat.
you're right.
this week.
I know. Yeah, I remember hearing that number. Yeah, 13. And they're in 8th place in the division now. They it's probably like the first time in 3 years that someone other than Canadians has occupied the 8th spot in the Atlantic.
Things are moving around in the East, like with the Rangers, sort of what is going on there.
They're done.
The
They're done.
Sens looking pretty hot. Actually, you know what? I am so glad the
Yeah.
Rangers won't be in a wild card spot, or I don't want to see them in the playoffs. Like, I don't want to see the Rangers in the first round of the playoffs.
No, because if they find a way to be in the mix, you know they're going to add like a big name, and then you're just going to be like the toughest 8th or 7th seed in the history of the NHL playoffs. So I agree. And you still have Igor there. Yeah, you don't want to see them.
Like their cap situation's got to be looking pretty good too right now. I haven't checked recently, but like
in terms of having room
yeah.
to add, probably not. Probably not
Really?
much there. Yeah, they
Okay.
have a lot of high priced players there. I mean, well, actually, I guess they just got rid of Jacob Trouba. So
That's what I'm saying. And
so that could help. Yeah. Yeah.
they made another move today.
Oh, did they?
Mm-hmm.
It's actually pretty wild. Every team in the Atlantic but the Sabres is kind of playing good hockey now. Like they've all like won 4 in a row. Ottawa, Tampa's won 3 in a row. Detroit and the Bruins, and Toronto 2 in a row. Florida 7-2-1 in the last 10. Like this division is killer.
And I feel like the Leafs, we felt pretty great about them last month. The last few weeks, we've been getting the wins, but are we feeling good about them? Like, are we kind of squeaking away with these wins? We're still at the top of the Atlantic, so
yeah, first place is first place. I mean, could the process look better? Of course, but I mean, not going to kind of shit on a team that's in first place and say, well, I don't like how they've been doing it, though.
No, it's
they're winning games. Yeah.
And we're mostly healthy. And now we're getting into the, aside from Stellars, obviously. But it's kind of like, ooh, I don't know. I'm just, every time we go.
I know. It's true.
It's interesting.
It's fair.
The ebbs and flows.
Yep. They're 14-4 at home, the Leafs. That's pretty crazy. That's quite the home record.
Are you going to any games this weekend? Or I guess
one. No, I'm going to the Monday afternoon game. The next gen game. Yeah.
Right. The 2 p.m.er.
Yeah. That's a fun one if you like to drink. Yeah. 2 p.m. 2 p.m. on a Monday.
I would say, yeah. There's not going to be a lot of beer sales probably. The lines will be pretty clear.
Yeah. Well, yeah. For a next gen game, yeah, it's just going to be the pizza line and the soda line that you got to be careful of.
Yeah. All the kiddies out of school. But
yep.
I'm going to the Islanders game. We're going to see the Islanders a lot.
Look at you.
Yeah, Saturday night. Big one.
A little John Tavares revenge game. It's not in Long Island, but I think there's still a something that motivates him against his former team for sure.
Of course there will be. Hopefully he'll get a shot that night.
He'll probably get 8, but I won't make a bet on him that game. I won't play it because I'll be like, oh, I don't trust him. Then he gets 5 shots in the first period.
Yeah, when
inevitably.
When you get burned by a parlay, it's just scorched into your memory. You can't place that prop bet again.
Yeah. Well, and it's always the shots on goal that kills me. like I was on a good
Really?
run earlier in the year where shots on goal I was like nailing all the time. It was like I had
Yeah.
the Matthew shots on goal, was doing really well with them.
Yeah.
Now I've kind of hit a wall. I don't know if I've gotten too cocky with my analytics that I use, but yeah, I think I have to avoid it now.
Well, it sounds like you're doing fewer legs than you were before. So, like, I guess you've taken the best
A
of
little
what
bit.
you learned from, and you're,
It's a good point. It's a good
yeah,
point. I think I have to go back to
just-
doing more legs. I think maybe that's what I got to
I
do.
don't know. I don't think so. I don't
It
think
worked a couple times. It did
it's
work a couple
sorry.
times,
I'm
though.
just saying, but if we're using the
Yeah.
same logic that you're saying that you're missing straws of anyway.
Oh, wait.
We're not
You
on
actually
betting
thought
talk
I was
here.
using logic. You thought I was using logic there. I was
I
using
thought-
delusion. I was using delusion to actually think that there was like a rhyme or reason why I won with a 8-leg parlay versus the 3 that I tried tonight and lost. I'm just trying to convince myself that what the thing I didn't do tonight will allow me to win next time. That's kind
I
of what I'm
think-
going with for now.
No, I think the betting gods typically have our backs. Like you go through a lot, tough loss, they're gonna get you back with a win soon.
For sure,
the-
yeah.
The money line tonight, I think you put that on your parlay, right? Like the Leafs were the underdog. So I love when the Leafs when the Leafs come through and they're the dogs on the line.
Well, yeah. Like you could probably. I'd like to test the theory, but I would think you could win a lot of money if every Leaf game you
Yeah.
bet for the Leafs when they were the underdog, and you bet for the other team when the Leafs are the favorite. So you basically bet the underdog in every Leaf matchup because there's so many games where the Leafs are not even a heavy favorite, but they are the an overwhelming favorite, and they
They're
lose.
usually the favorite.
Not as
Especially
much
at home.
this year, mind you, but for sure in past years that would have probably paid out pretty well. Oh, the Leafs are a heavy favorite against Columbus. Columbus on the money line. Leafs heavy favorite against
Oh.
Buffalo. Buffalo money line. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like you'd be a terrible Leafs fan, but definitely
Oh, yeah.
worth a shot, worth a, you know.
But it could be
On a
that whole
big
win-win mentality, right? Where if you're going to watch
Yes,
the
well,
Leafs
for
play
sure.
Columbus,
Yeah.
obviously if they win, you're happy as a fan, but you put a few bucks, some pocket change on
Yeah.
Columbus, and if it pays well, you're not as like pissed off that the Leafs won or lost because you won your bet.
Oh, the emotional hedge is
That's all I'm
one
saying.
of my favorite tools. But yeah, I've been trying to bet on the Leafs if I'm betting money line because I want to cheer for the team. And then
Oh,
I have
yeah, obviously,
other
yeah.
bets that keep me engaged. Like
Yeah.
loving the under. Under typically hits, not the last few games, but
Typically, but not the last few, and probably not on Friday either against Buffalo.
probably not on Friday, probably not on Saturday. We'll see.
Yeah,
But,
like pretty much for an over to hit against Buffalo, the opponent just has to really show up. You're guaranteed at least 3 or 4 goals against Buffalo, and then if they even put in 1 or 2, you're already at your over.
and it's
Yeah.
totally so yeah. You know,
Right? Who
might be
knows
my
what we're getting
first
from
over
him?
of the season. Might be my
Oof.
first over of the season Friday night. Oh, I
That could
hate
be
the Friday
exciting.
Saturdays. I hate Friday Saturdays. It's like, you get invited to a nice dinner party, nice drinks. You're just like, oh, but are the Leafs gonna be? Are you gonna have the Leafs game on?
Yeah. Well, you gotta ask that question before you
No.
before you RSVP.
No, I don't. I just
No?
just
No,
put
this is
it on
one
my
that you have to
phone
be
and
at no matter what.
I went to a Christmas party last Saturday, 2 Saturdays nights ago. And I had, it was like a nice thing. And I just felt so weird missing Saturday night Leafs.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Don't like the
No, you
feeling
can't do it.
of thinking to the Leafs when you're trying to like be engaged. So yeah. And I kind of liked the Sunday night match last week. The Saturday, Sunday was kind of fun.
Yeah,
Friday,
for the
Saturday.
5 p.m. The 5 p.m. I didn't like that.
No, I
Or
didn't like
just-
that. Didn't like
No.
it. I
Do it
wanted to
early
watch
in the
the Bills.
afternoon or evening. Yeah. The 5
Just-
p.m. just kind of right in the middle of my football Sunday. I didn't like it.
Yeah, just throw it on Monday at that point,
Pretty much. pretty much.
Anyway, I think we're getting
Very,
the
very
weeds
well
here.
said. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we can definitely wrap it there. But yeah, obviously a nice win for the Maple Leafs against a very good Dallas team. So that was great to see. Great effort by the third line. Great effort by Joe Brick Wool.
Your boy. Yeah. Can't
And
believe
the
we got
belt
that.
winner, Max Domi. Congrats, Max. Well
Yes.
deserved. Well deserved. He had my vote.
This show was brought to you by Amulets.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we got to see if they will drop a sponsor for us. So that would be nice.
Yeah.
We can align with them. I think that's the way to win our bets. We can get some of that good luck mojo.
I think so.
Yep.
I think
Could use
so.
it. All right. Well, this was fun, Caroline. Appreciate it.
Yes.
And we'll be on sooner than later for sure. Be back with another episode of Leafs Unfiltered. To everyone who tuned in today, appreciate you guys. And as always, drop us a comment or anything. If you want to see something different or if you just have some feedback, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. Check us out on Spotify too. We're on Spotify.
Yes, please.
The episode's the day after.
Absolutely. It's the best thing for your drive to work or from work. Not that anyone will be working over the next week or so with holidays coming up. But yeah, you can still find time to pop in a podcast. So, all right. Enjoy it, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the week, and we will talk soon. See ya.
Bye. See ya.
Oh, Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water. Don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.